Alright, welcome to another episode of the ASEAN Project. I'm your host, City Shaper, or as the people here know me, Roy, and today we're building the most iconic landmark in Kuala Lumpur, Merdeka Square. But as I recreate these historical colonial buildings in detail, I'm intentionally leaving some gaps in the landscape, because this is the first major step in preparing for the biggest project I've ever attempted in this series. Also, if you're new to the series, let me introduce you real quick. I have traveled Southeast Asia for 4 months and decided to recreate it in city skylines, but of course on a smaller scale. And as I'm creating these places, following the order of my journey, I'll be explaining about the places that I'm building. And eventually, once everything is built, we can take the whole project even further, but that's something for the future. So let's dive straight in and lay down the foundations for Merdeka Square. Let's go! Alright, so we're gonna be building the Merdeka Square right here. Kind of in the real position that it should be. Close to the Jamek Mosque, you cross the bridge and you get to the Merdeka Square. And if you have a look at these pictures here, you can see a couple elements that really make the Merdeka Square the Merdeka Square. And if you ask me, that's the grass field, of course, the grass square, which is what makes it the square. Then of course the clock tower, the Sultan Abdul Samad building, which is the building under the clock tower. The flagpole and the big library behind it. I think if we start to nail those elements, it's really gonna look a lot like the Merdeka Square. So first of all, let me clean up these trees and then I will show you some assets I have. Alright, so I think these buildings are the ones I'm gonna work with. I know they don't look fully exactly the same as the Sultan Abdul Samad building, but it's what I have to work with. I had the Salvadorian houses in mind, but unfortunately these assets didn't work, so I'm gonna be using these. And I think if I color the roofs and all that and I put the clock tower in the right place, it's all gonna work very well. So I think the first goal is to really make the shape of the building and then of course put the clock tower. So let's do that first. Alright, so that's kind of the shape that we need, as you can see here on the map. But as you can see, it leaves very little grass space right here. So I think what we need to do is remove this road and fix that a little bit. And I know it doesn't look the greatest yet, but I'm really convinced we can make this look nice. So bear with me, guys. Alright, so I think this is gonna be the size of the square of the grass field. We need to make sure that we can have a little bit of space for these buildings right here, and for that I have a bunch of buildings in mind already. So let's detail this area and then afterwards we can connect this road to this road again, so the road hierarchy is correct again. But first of all, let me color these buildings, because right now they're not the colors that I really need them to be. Alright, so that's kind of the same color. Yeah, let me just place the clock tower. I quite like that. So from here, yeah, let's see what we can do next. I think I'm gonna place these buildings right here already. I have some assets, also old style buildings, but these are European old town buildings. And I think these will look very good. As you can see here on the picture, these buildings look a little bit like old German buildings. And I have exactly this type of building with these little edges and all that. So as you can see, these are kind of like a similar style. So if we find the right one with the right shape. Alright, I think we're working with these, so very nice. Let's now kind of decide where the flagpole is gonna be. After that we can detail it all, make it all look proper. For now I think it's just important to get the placements right. So we want this kind of little square right here, and in there is gonna be the flagpole, and I think we're just gonna do that with the path as well. Let's see if that creates a nice square for us. Alright, I think that's a good square, a good little square. And then for the library, I think we want to use the Emerald building. The Emerald building has this dome, which is kind of similar to the library. So I think this will look very good. Just have to make sure that I can place it the right way. But let's see. I think this angle is pretty good. But as you can see, we really need to make some space here. Move the Klang River a little bit to the side. But that's okay, we're gonna do that after. So here's where we're gonna have the flagpole. All these details, we're gonna place them manually. So we want to change all of these details, or at least remove all of these details, and make it look good ourselves. for now that works. Alright, so we kind of know this is the Sultan Abdul Samad building, the colonial houses across it, the library, Flagpole is gonna be here. So I think what we are gonna do now is start detailing a little bit, or should we put the road first? Difficult. I'm also gonna remove this, by the way. This is something that definitely is not supposed to be there, at least not in my build. Remove the floor as well. Yeah, perfect, awesome. I'll remove this surface. Whoop, gone. Okay, so I think we want to place the road and fix that right here, so we have that done, and then we'll see how we continue. All right, amazing. Shape is good right now. I think this will work, and eventually I think we're gonna lay these lines a little bit different, the public transport lines, but that's for the future. Right now let's focus on the detailing, and I think what we want to do first is make the grass look nice, because what is a Merdeka square without the nice grass? So let me just fix that grass texture real quick. So I think, yeah, that looks a lot better. And then as you can see, the tiles around are a little bit like red and all that. So I do want to emulate that as well. So, and then the flagpole here, it will have a different texture again, a different surface. So I think, we're just gonna first lay all these surfaces and see how that looks. Yeah, when you're laying these surfaces, you really start to feel it coming to life. Things really start to take its place, and yeah, I think from here it's not gonna be long anymore before it starts to look really good. Alright, let's focus on this flag point for now. So I'm not gonna elevate it like the real deal, because I think that's a little bit difficult, and I also don't think we have like the exact same stairs and all that. So what I'm gonna be doing is I'm just gonna be placing planters instead of those white square blocks, and I think that will work very, very nice. So let's see. I have these and I also have these. So what I think is on the outside, maybe, in fact, yeah, I think these should be on the corners right here. That's gonna look great. Like that, and then we need one in the middle as well, which is where the flagpole is gonna be, and then we need 4 of these as well to kind of make an edge right here. All right, and then for that to finish it, we need the flagpole like that. That looks pretty good. But then I think here you can see that there are some small benches or type of blue structures here on the edges, and I think it would be cool if we put just some benches there, maybe blue as well, just so it's a bit more recognizable. But let's see. First, let me detail this a little bit more. And I love it how you can just use different props to make like one prop happen. Anyway, it's starting to come together. Also, these tents, they really add so much. During the time when I arrived there, actually they were like preparing for a concert, and it seemed to be very like busy in these tents. And then there was the stage as well, so that's why I'm placing it too. Starting to look pretty good, but I feel like we're missing a lot of details. Yeah, the base is here, but the details are really what's gonna finish it all. First of all, I think what we want to do is place these buildings here. It's not exactly the same building, but I think it works. It has that little middle section that is a bit higher as well, so I think that works really, really well. Now what I want to do is I want to add a little bit here along this road, because yeah, you need some palm trees, you need some filling up to really have that cool look, because otherwise it's just gonna be buildings with a clock tower. And then here you have all these beautiful details, except for this ugly thing. Okay, so yeah, so it will have to look good as well. And I see that here we have a little bit of too little space. So what I need to do is I need to remove this or move this a little bit like that, as far as we can. Ooh, doesn't give me too much space. Ooh, I think we got it. Alright, that's amazing, That gives us just that little edge of space that we need to really make this look beautiful. So I think what we want to place there is just a whole lot of palm trees, and of course also a nice texture. And I'm thinking maybe we can use the same texture as that we used, let's see, here in Chinatown for the floor. Alright, I quite like that. That looks good. So I think we can continue that a little bit right here as well, probably. But first, let me detail this a little bit. I think what we need to really make it more similar is just plant a couple of palm trees. So we need a couple of good planters. This tree right here needs to be gone, of course. So let's check for some good planters. I think it shouldn't be too many. It shouldn't be too little neither. This is way too many. So I think maybe something along these lines would work fine. And in there we're gonna put these palm trees. So let's see how that looks. Maybe it's a little bit too much. I find it a little bit distracting. So maybe maybe we need to remove a couple of them. I think like that it's already better, and maybe we can combine it with some other plants as well. That will make it look really, really good, I hope. Alright guys, I think that's a wrap. We really nailed it. The Merdeka square is finished and I think it looks pretty good. What do you guys think? By the way, I did this episode with a little bit of a stuffy nose, but I really felt like making an episode regardless, so I hope you're enjoying the episode. Also guys, thanks so much for all your suggestions. It's indeed a really good idea to put a roof on Paddling Street, otherwise it's just any other Chinatown, and we're gonna have on this whole map so many Chinatowns. Yeah, Paddling Street needs to be Paddling Street. So for that, yeah, if you guys know any assets, please let me know. For now, I think we're done with the episode, and I'm really looking forward to start the mega project in a couple of episodes. So this is one step, and soon we're gonna do Bricksfield and a couple other things before we start with the mega project. Anyhow, thank you guys for watching and see you guys next time. Much love.